President David G. Burnett was a wanted man. Galveston Island meant safety for him, if only he and his family could get there. 2 Texian warships and other privateers lay at anchor there. This rebellion against the Centralists had favored the rebels at sea. The warships Invincible and Liberty had prowled the waters of the Gulf of Mexico and defeated several Mexican warships, while also hindering Mexico's ability to resupply its army in Texas. Now these ships might lend a hand in the closing act of the would-be republic. They would cover the retreat of the rebel leadership as they fled for the United States. Burnett had already had a close call. He and his family had barely escaped Harrisburg before the pursuing Mexican troops. The acting president, his wife, and children had reached a waiting rowboat at Morgan's Point, and its crew pulled hard at the oars to get farther out into the bay. A few hundred yards out, the Flash, a vessel waiting to carry him to Galveston, ready to set sail. Burnett had the only copy of the Texas Constitution with him. If the Republic of Texas was to live on, this document needed to make it to safety. Mexican cavalry arrived at the water's edge and took aim at the rowboat as it splashed away. Burnett stood, making himself an obvious target, while trying to shelter his wife and children. On shore, Mexican Colonel Juan Almonte told his men to hold their fire. He did not make war against innocents. General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna was nearby with 700 of his men. He was traveling fast and trying to finish off the Texian government, having left most of his army still crossing the Brazos River or driving away the remaining American colonists. Learning that Burnett had escaped, El Caudillo shifted his plan and retraced his route. He would lead his detachment toward another region infested by Americans. Santa Anna's men marched another 10 miles back toward the ruins of Harrisburg, but turned off to the right, east, to capture Lynch's Ferry and the crossing of the San Jacinto River. His old nemesis, Lorenzo de Zavala, had a home nearby. Perhaps the Mexican exile and turncoat was nearby as well. From there, Santa Anna and his men would sack the region on the other side of Galveston Bay, eventually reaching and destroying Anahuac. That town had been nothing but trouble for years. Across Buffalo Bayou, Sam Houston could not believe his luck. Captured Mexican couriers revealed that the leader of the Mexican army was just a few miles away, and the Texians had more men. That night, Houston left his baggage and 250 men as guards at a camp opposite Harrisburg and crossed the rest over Buffalo Bayou to its south bank. He led his army down the road toward Lynch's Ferry and the sloping prairie on the marshy west bank of the San Jacinto River. On the morning of April 20th, 1836, General Santa Anna learned that Sam Houston and his army were at hand. What were his intentions? Somehow, they had snuck in behind him. Did they mean to fight? Or were they racing him towards Lynch's Ferry? Until he could be sure, Santa Anna rested his weary soldiers on a sloping prairie about a mile from the ferry. There, he waited for General Martin Perfecto de Coast and 600 additional Mexican troops to arrive. Just to be safe, the Mexican soldados fortified their camp using baggage, saddles, and other items. Still, they remained dangerously exposed and out in the open and were exhausted. What was Houston planning? Was this to be the last gasp of the Republic of Texas?